In this video, we are going to go over how to solve a word problem that involves multiplying or dividing, one or the other, an inequality. Let's jump right into it. As in other word problems that I go over, I'm a big fan of translating as much as we can as we read, and then seeing if maybe from those translations we could piece together the inequality or equation we need to solve. Let's roll. You were paid $8 per hour by your aunt for working at her grocery store. Right away, $8 per hour is $8 for every hour or for each hour. So to me, I'm going to write out 8H. Whether or not that's a part of my actual equation or inequality that I'm going to have here remains to be seen. We're then told you want to earn at least $200. So your total, which is by the way going to come from multiplying $8 for every hour that you work, right? After 1 hour you work 8, you get $8. After 2 hours you get 16, 3 hours, 3 times 8, and so on and so forth. The key here is saying that that's the total amount of money then, and it needs to be at least. So that means you are greater than or equal to 200. So if your goal is at least $200, you need to equal 200 or be more than it. And before we're even done reading the word problem, we've translated everything into what seems to be the expression we need to solve. It then says, at least how many hours must you work to reach your goal? So that question actually just confirms that what we thought to be our correct setup is indeed correct. Isn't that rad? I think it's pretty cool. Now, the one thing that I like to do in word problems is define my variable. And as I've said before, I'll say again in many, many videos with word problems, you often find how to define your variable from the question. So it says, at least how many hours must you work to reach your goal? So H equals, and I'll just put a number of hours worked. So be specific with your variable, number of hours worked. So now all we have to do is solve the inequality that we have there, but we're through the difficult part. And remember, as I've said before, I'll say again and again, the most important thing when you're given like a homework assignment with 5 word problems or 10 word problems or however many, go through and just do your setups like this and practice that 10 times, because then you're drilling the hardest part, the translation, and then go back and solve them, which I'm about to do. We want to undo 8 times H, so we divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8, well, it's a positive 8 we're dividing by, so the inequality sign will remain. 8 divided by 8 is 1, leaving us with H. 200 divided by 8, you can either do in your head, by hand, or with a calculator, is going to be 25. So if we were to write out our final answer in words, we would say that we must work at least 25 hours. That's all there is to it, folks. Go practice those word problems.